Welcome back to another episode of 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes. Coach, last week, I was telling you just a few minutes ago, that was the closest I've come to feeling like when we played the state championship against Charlton County. That was some hard-hitting, pounding football. Obviously, the Irish did not come out on top, but I know there's plenty we can learn from such a game like that, a playoff atmosphere. What's the one thing positive that you took away from last week's contest?
Well, I thought our guys played hard. There were times we didn't play smart, but we played hard. We committed 3 turnovers. We had a punt blocked. We mishandled a punt there late in the game. So essentially that's like 5 turnovers, and they had none. But we were still in the game with a chance to win. It had the lead with 2.5 minutes to go in the game. I think you can point out to our young men that our mental errors were more a factor than our athletic ability, and those mental areas are things that we go over every week, every day, that sometimes get overlooked because they don't show up in the game, and you keep preaching that it's not the big things, it's the little things that end up making the difference. So hopefully we improve on that. We focus better in practice and take the small details, and we get better in a hurry.
Well, we're ready to get better, and especially this week. This is a special week for everybody here at Shamrock Bowl because it's homecoming. Spirit Week's taking place right now. In fact, the folks at the high school were dressing up like elderly people yesterday, and I think today's tacky day. We got all the days waiting for you. Be looking out on Facebook for those. But, Coach, when you got a team like East Lawrence, they're always itching and scratching wanting to beat you. I mean, I remember when they did beat us several years ago that you thought they'd won the Super Bowl. And that's no knock on them, but I'm just saying they get ready for us. What are the things we have to do this week to bounce back from a tough loss against Brooks to ensure that we start the region playoff in the right way?
Well, you just have to prepare for them like you do everybody else, and you got to understand that, when I'm watching the film, and this is sincere as it can be, Coach Turner's got those kids playing with better technique. They're playing with great effort. Their linebacker play is phenomenal to me. They're fitting exactly where they need to fit. Their secondary is making tackles in open field and not giving up big plays. And from an offensive standpoint, they're adding a little bit more each week to their system and what they're trying to get going. Plus, they've had an open date week to continue to add a little bit and
this keeps happening
do
to
some
us.
things. Well, yeah, it's kind of a regular thing in a lot of ways. But and then in the kicking game, I don't know the young man's name, but number 25 for them has already had 4 long kick and punt returns. So they're doing a lot of things really well, and there's nothing they'd like better than to come over here and catch our guys off guard. And shucks, we better have our popcorn ready.
I was about to say, and especially with all the distraction, I know homecoming week can be kind of a plus minus for a football coach when you're trying to make sure they stay focused. What are you telling your guys this week to make sure that their minds are set on the field and not homecoming?
Well, we don't talk about a homecoming other than our fact that, what we've got to do in a homecoming game is make sure everybody that leaves the game on Friday night is in a good mood and happy because we won. And that goes with your preparation. And that's our number one focus is put last week behind us, prepare to play a better football game, and hopefully come out with a little more intensity and just a little bit of a chip on your shoulder ready to play.
Well, I want to make sure to send a quick little shout out. This will be my class's 20th reunion. They'll be all out here. The class of 98 will be out here, and from what I understand, there'll be quite a few. So we'll be happy to welcome y'all back to Shamrock Bowl, and a couple of y'all might be itching to want to get out there and play, but I don't think the eligibility rules allow for that. But
I'm sure there's a few we could use, Jason.
Yeah, but we'll be excited to have those folks out there. And then, Coach, finally, we've got guys that are constantly making big plays for us. Who were 3 guys last week that stood out to you?
Well, the first guy that jumps out at you, obviously, is Marcus Adams. Marcus had a heck of a night defensively. He was physical. He really locked in last week in practice and said, hey, I'm going to be prepared, and he was. I thought he did a really, really good job for us there. I thought our tight end, both tight ends, Steve Linton and Jaquez Evans, both had good nights for us on the defensive side of the ball. And then, from the offensive side, it's hard to put a big tab on anybody that had a great night, but I think the guy that really had a phenomenal night for us was Jermaine Cooley.
Yes, it almost had a big touchdown. Had a penalty, call that back, but I was waiting for him. I saw him coming and I got all excited. Well, Coach, we want to make sure everybody comes out to Shamrock Bowl early this week, especially with all the homecoming activities that you take part. Celebrate all these young people for all the great things that they're doing. There's going to be a lot of pretty ladies out there and a lot of handsome young men. We hope you'll support them and support the Irish. And as always, we thank you for tuning in to 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes.